They do not come to me that often, but yes, I do like to check out notebooks, especially gaming ones. And oh boy, do I have something cool for you this time. Hi guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to my channel. As CPUs and GPUs became more efficient with each generation, obviously together with delivering more performance, we gradually saw a rise of high-end gaming laptops such as this one, Razer's new 2021 Blade 15, but most importantly they stopped being ultra bulky but rather ultra portable. This of course has its own caveats, but more on that later on. Currently, I don't have a need for a laptop, but if I would probably go for something along the line of this, Razer's latest and greatest Blade 15 2021 version, or a really capable ultra-light laptop with enough RAM and CPU power combined with an external GPU. Since many reviewers already covered this model to its full extent, me doing that again would not bring you any additional value because I would repeat basically all of it, but I'm instead trying to approach it from a different angle. That of course being doing some sim racing with it, because why not? And by that I'm not thinking of having it only for that, but rather as a workhorse which would power your sim racing rig when you come home from your daily job with it. Speaking of power, try to guess how long does a single battery charge last when trying to play with a setup like this. Go on, try to guess, leave your comments down below, I will wait. Done? Right. So, the answer is 60 minutes straight. That will be even less if you decide to use laptop screen instead of this one, because it was turned off during that test. Yep, I was not expecting much honestly. It has a fairly small battery capacity for what it is, 80 watt hours, while some of its main competitors are pushing closer to 100 watt hours, which is the upper limit you can carry on a plane with you. This is why I got it hooked up to its 230 watt power brick, which also secured me maximal performance potential. I say potential because it depends on the cooling, which yeah, when everything is cracked to max and loaded, can and is loud, but honestly nothing I would expect or haven't already seen or heard from a gaming laptop. Speaking of the specs, this one is topped off with Intel's 10th gen Core i7 10875H 8-core CPU, RTX 3070 dedicated graphics card, laptop version of it, so less CUDA cores and lower clocks, plus this one is on the lower side with DGP of 95 watts, 16GB of DDR4 2933 MHz RAM, 1TB of NVMe SSD, and a 15.6 1440p 240Hz display. Yes, 240Hz, and you know what else has a 240Hz display? This 240Hz G9 monitor. Yep, that's Samsung's Odyssey G9. I actually did a review of it just recently, so except for hooking up my CSL Elite wheelbase and CSL LC pedals, another thing that was also hooked up to it is this giant display. There was one problem though. Since this Blade 15 only has HDMI output, I've decided to find a solution so I can push high refresh rate signal to the monitor, and that was to get 3D Club's USB-C to DisplayPort 1.4 cable. And I got to tell you, this cable is a rare find. I was lucky to find one so quickly, but there was one small issue with it, and that is that I was only able to push 120Hz on G9's 5120x1440p resolution, so it was not running at its full 240Hz refresh rate potential. But you know what, I don't mind it for this testing purpose, plus this is a unicorn situation to begin with, all things considered. Anyhow, although this laptop version of the RTX 3070 is far from being able to represent its desktop counterpart, it's still able to push well above 100 FPS in popular sim racing titles at G9's native resolution. We are also probably missing out on anywhere from 15 to 30% of extra performance since this GPU doesn't operate at the upper 130 watt TGP limit. Some laptops with better cooling solution do have it configured like that. Chances are that you're going to use this laptop to hook it up to at least a 1080p or 1440p high refresh rate monitor, maybe even stretch it to 4K or VR setup, but to use it for a triple monitor setup, it's borderline impossible with a laptop like this one when it comes to configuring everything, plus the fact that it lacks raw power, especially when it comes to 120 or 240 Hz refresh rates. In that case, you are better off with a desktop PC, but I will not dwell too much on it because it depends on many things, personal preferences before all and so on. I just wanted to try out its practicality in a setup like this one. Of course, there is also the option of a dedicated external GPU. You can then have it already hooked up to a multi-monitor setup, waiting you when you come home, plus it provides you with more power since it's a full-blown desktop version of a GPU. What bothered me the most about this setup is the noise of it, of the laptop that is, but that is something you cannot avoid when talking about gaming laptops, although yeah, a lot of sim racing drivers with these kind of setups do wear headsets, so that's potentially not a problem for them. Considering that this was something that just came about, I was actually really thankful that I got a chance to try this out, a proof of concept if you will, because it's definitely not a usual scenario, even more so since this kind of sim racing setup is a rare find to begin with and it's usually paired with a full-blown PC configuration, so this will maybe give some of you out there food for thought. That's it for this time from me. Thank you once again for watching. If you find this helpful, please take a second to toss me a thumbs up because that really helps a lot. And if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe. And if you already are, be sure to press that notification bell down below so you don't miss out on a new video. And until then, catch you later guys.